All right, here we go in 3, 2.
Are we actually on this time?
Yep.
Okay. After some technical difficulties, welcome to TWIS, where, some big things have happened in the world of the world. The world might end. Who knows? But before any of that, I got to know, does this sweater make me look fat? Makes me look furry. Look fat, eh?
Why don't you sit up?
No, because I look fatter.
Doing a fucking show here.
Bro, we just had some KFC. My first KFC in how many years? Dude, I'm probably like fucking 200 pounds right now. I'm a fatty. But beyond my obesity, we got Ohio in a state of emergency. The world's about to end. Government's covering up with UFO spottings and shooting down UFOs. But what really matters is the world of sports. Take your mind away from this shit. That's why I do it. That's why anyone who watches sports do it. You need an escape for 3 hours. Throw on the Oilers game. They're playing tonight, and that's what we're going to do. Super Bowl also happened this week. In case you didn't know.
Impeccable timing.
Impeccable, right? No, it all the news cycle, just everything happens at once. Once a big thing freaking happens, and let's not even get into that. Well, we could.
We got 55 minutes.
We got 55 minutes. Okay, so Ohio. In case you didn't hear, a train derailed in Ohio and made me fat, and I don't like it at all. And the world might end because of it. No, but real talk, like a train derailed. They were burning off shit down there, and
no one's talking about it.
No one's talking about it because I seen a picture today. We threw it on there on the interweb there. It looks like the eye of a hurricane storm where there's no clouds or anything over the disaster zone. It's a small town in Ohio, East Palestine or some shit it's called. And to distract people, we're shooting down UFOs now all of a sudden.
4 or 5 of them, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. In 1 week. Anyways, enjoy the time that you have, folks. Enjoy it the best you can. Laugh, make the best of everything, and enjoy the people that you're with, and enjoy the dumb dogs that you have too. Even though I love this little thing, but you better not fuck this up again, Danny. No, but real talk. We had a Super Bowl party here. It was awesome. It was great. We had a bunch of guests. We had the neighbors up here from downstairs. We're about to move though, so it was like a good last maybe send off. Good time to chill with them before we vacate. We had my boys here, and it was a good game, a good party, good turnout, and everyone had a great time. Caleb missed half of it. He was passed out in like the third quarter or some shit.
That's how I do.
That's how he does, and it's just a staple.
You pass out too.
Not during the actual party, like right after.
Yeah,
right after.
First one to go.
But you get up, like you have your nap in the middle of the fucking whole thing.
I got to recharge.
Yeah. And I just go hard, and I think we hosted a good one. We had you missed some highlights of the actual party, like.
Well, let me hear them now.
Well, after the game, we had those truth cards out. That shitty truth or whatever it was called game.
Yeah.
And we threw them out, right? But I pulled a few out of the garbage, like the truths.
Yeah.
Because that was the only cool part of everyone has to say a truth or whatever. And we had some funny stories coming from that. And then you had Max you had Max going into the into the trash bin there, grabbing the rest of the truths and shit. Well, shout out to Max. We were hoping to have him on this week, but he's busy, and we couldn't do it Monday morning because a couple of the boys slept over Sunday night, and it just wasn't in the cards for Monday. But we'll have him on maybe next year when the NFL starts again. No, Max was here, Terrace was here. My boy Richard was here, who I did a show with. I don't know if I mentioned this on the last episode.
You did.
Did I? Yeah, where I did a show. Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah. and kicked a freestyle and killed it. And then after we did that truth game here, I kicked another freestyle on the spot and just tore it up. I wish you heard it, bro, because you were sleeping, and everyone was just gathered around, and I was just like not going after everyone, but making jokes at everyone's expense, and just like making jokes about myself, about that. It was just like a stand-up show, but rhymed, and I felt really, really on. Oh, damn it, we got a game on that. I don't like what's happening on, but anyways. This is why we shouldn't have the sports on behind.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, coronavirus.
Party was awesome, but to the game itself, I mean, after we get past my my own party here, my narcissicity of how great the party was, the actual game, Philly should have won it, 100%. I mean, they were up by 10 at the half. It was 24-14 at the half. I had a bet going on with there was a bunch of bets going on, and I had a bet going on with my buddy Richard, which I have to pay him for still. Don't let me forget that. He's not going to let me forget it. I know that. And last year, it was the Rams against the Bengals, and I'm pretty sure Richard was the only guy who called the Rams winning it, because we were all on Joey B's train, and Richard came in and was like, "No, I think the Rams are going to win it." And sure enough, he won. He was right. And then this year, pretty much the majority of the people that were here were on the Philly train, and there was a couple. I think it was TWIS or something that was on the KC train.
I was KC.
Were you KC?
Yeah.
Yeah. You Matt, TWIS and Richard were on the KC train. The rest, everyone here was on the Philly train, and I was on the Philly train. I had the under. Where's my notes from the last one?
It's because they have the guy from Fortnite on KC.
I know you kept saying that. You gonna say it again?
Yeah, I just we have hopefully a bigger audience now. Someone's gonna laugh at my joke.
This guy was rocking this joke for like all night. He's like, "Oh yeah, they have the guy on KC." I think he got one laugh out of like the 8 times he said it,
and the whole week leading up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I had the under big time on that game. From last week, I called 26-17 Philly over the Chiefs. It was freaking. It already surpassed that at halftime. 24. Or no, it actually did. No, I got to get my mic. It was almost that at halftime. It was 24-14 at halftime. Philly had the lead by 10 at half. And Richard was like, "Oh shit, is this gonna happen? Like, we're gonna lose?" And we kept making these side bets and these side jokes, like, "Yo, I'll give you $10 right now if we just call it good or whatever." You just give me $15 right now, right? Because we're ballers, right? We're betting like $15, $20, $25. Like, empty your bank account on this. just balling out of control. And he was like, no. And then sure enough, second half, somehow, well, not somehow. I mean, KC's a really, really good team, but the fact that Philly put up freaking 35 points, you think that should be enough. It was actually a good ending. I mean, it got down to the last 2 minutes, 35-35. I mean, I don't have to explain the game. We all know how the game went. Final score 38-35 for KC.
I don't know. Some people might be tuning in to hear the score of the Super Bowl here.
Yeah, well, you never know. Like, my mom or something.
I hope not. Sorry, Mom.
No. 38-35 final score. KC wins, and people were saying like it's a dynasty. It's like, dude, they've won twice in 4 years. It's not a dynasty. Danny, don't even think about it. Because you're going to mess up the jersey. Don't do it. Call her over there.
I got cords and stuff over here. Danny, go that way. Or lay there. Or go
She
that way.
knows. She's a good dog.
Yeah, she listens.
That was our guest last week, Danny. She had some good insight on the Super Bowl. She was actually right taking the Eagles.
Yeah.
Or taking the KC, sorry. And, but luckily, I own her, so I don't have to, she's my slave. I don't have to pay her.
We normally treat our guests better than this.
Yeah. Well, depends the guest, I guess. Ask. Ask. I don't know, I guess we've only had a few. I'm trying to pull one out that maybe that we haven't mentioned already on the podcast here. But
The Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. All in all, it was quite the game. It was a really good game. It was entertaining. I think everyone that was here had a good time. I certainly did, and I guess the halftime show had 5 million more viewers than the actual game itself to see Rihanna perform. And I mean, everyone was expecting her to bring out a guest. And her guest, oh my God, was the baby in her belly. So, but the first thing you said, and I think everyone agrees, it didn't compare to last year's. Last year's was off the chain. Don't even think about it. I know you want to be another guest.
She should be fine.
This is a beautiful, beautiful jersey here, and her fur gets everywhere. Danny, go. I'm just gonna put my feet up here. I'm gonna get comfortable. You're not coming past here, okay? Go over there. I'm sorry. You had your 15 minutes last week. Don't look at me like that.
Oh, Nick says he thinks Danny's super cute.
Danny is the cutest dog in the history of mankind. You better know that. If you don't know that, just stop watching right now.
Nick's a viewer.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, shout out Nick. We should have Nick. Can we do like a freaking like a, what do you call it? A Zoom or a video chat
Yeah.
or with Nick and somehow do it on here?
That
That would have been cool to do it this week.
Yeah. The only way I'm thinking about it is just putting up a little talking head, like on my phone or something.
But yeah, so I would just have to wear the headphones and just hear him, but I wouldn't be able to see him, obviously.
No, I would beside you. We'd set up a laptop
Okay. Yeah.
with him.
But it wouldn't be able to be put on screen. We wouldn't be able to do like a side by side thing. There's got to be a way.
There's ways.
Yeah. You should know this, man. You're the producer here.
There's just some cost in these kind of things.
Well, for like new software and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. It's not included in the shit we got.
Well, we pre-record,
Yeah.
but we don't have a live recorded software.
Oh, we don't.
No.
That's a different thing.
Yeah, no, I just edit this stuff.
Okay. Well, shit.
I can look into it.
Yeah, for sure. Anyways, Rihanna, her performance wasn't as good as last year's. I don't think any performance for a long fucking time will top Dre and Snoop. Like that shit was crazy, man. Every time I freaking watch that, I rewatch it over and over again. That performance from last year.
It was insane.
It was so insane, man. Like they just did all these hits and no disrespect to Rihanna or anything. I love Rihanna. Rihanna's the shit. If she ever does come back to Edmonton, I'm gonna go see her. And I did see her once, way back in the day. She was opening up for everyone's boy Kanye West, and it was like way back, like before she had like 75% of her hits, right?
Wow.
So because she was opening, right?
Yeah.
She was one of the openers, but it was a big show back. It was Ye headlining, Rihanna opening, NERD also opening, Pharrell Williams, his group, and Lupe Fiasco. That was the first time I seen Lupe, and that was a hell of a show. That was like, dude, it was crazy. I can't believe I'm saying this. I was like 15 or 16 years old or something. 16 years old, 2008, and yeah, that was almost half my lifetime ago. Whoa, mind blown. But yeah, no, Rihanna, she did a bunch of her hits, and it was jamming. It was we had a good time. But I mean, if you got to compare it to those legends from last year, then I don't know if anything will stack up. Other stuff that happened in this past weekend in sports, the Oilers had a couple games, afternoon games, well, morning games here actually. They started at 10:30. First of which was against Ottawa, where we rocked it. We had like excuse me. We had a really, really good game, and it was kind of stymied at the end by an injury that happened to the Sens goalie, Hyman fell on him after getting pushed into him in the last like minute and a half of the game, and Buddy had to get stretchered off. So I mean, it kind of put a null to the end of the game itself. And then the next morning, we were in Montreal, and it was like complete opposite. It's just the effort wasn't even there. This guy just watched the replay and he can't believe it. The effort wasn't there, and we deserved to lose against Montreal. We play again tonight in first game at home in like 2.5 weeks against Detroit. And there's been talk, trade deadline's coming up. Heard there's been quite a bit of talk actually of our Edmonton Oilers somehow, some way, getting one of the best defensemen in the league in Erik Karlsson at the trade deadline. I don't think it's actually, I mean, it's possible on paper. He has a $11.5 million cap hit, so we would have to move out some of our players that make money, some of our defensemen, some stuff like that. We'd have to move quite a bit around and give up a first-round pick and this and that. And because Chicago, or San Jose is who Erik Karlsson plays for, they're in a rebuild, and they have one of the best defensemen in the league who is putting up like huge points this year. Not only is he an offensive defenseman, but he also plays hella good in his own end. He's a 200-foot player, and if we were to get him, and I think this is a huge if. This is all speculation, but I've heard multiple sources talk about it. But if we were to get Erik Karlsson, I don't know how we wouldn't be a Stanley Cup favorite this year if that were to happen. Based on what we have offensively and what he adds offensively, playing with Connor, oh my God! And then he could just, it would be like a super team. And I think that's why I think it's a big if, because he gets paid a lot, and we'd have to move a lot of shit around. So I don't know if that's actually possible. But my goodness, if we record the next episode and we got Erik Karlsson, I'm gonna be high on my horse, because I'm gonna be pumped, and I'm just gonna be talking a lot of shit and a lot of predictions and shit. And I'm not putting too many of my chips into it, but I think it is a possibility. So hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe it does happen, but it probably doesn't, because this happens every year where, there's speculation. We'll get this player, we'll get that player. If we add this player, this will happen, and all this, and rarely does it happen where it's the actual player that everyone's talking about that we get. But yeah, this would be a total game changer. And here's the thing, though: we'll get Erik Karlsson, and then the media, which is in Canada, the epicenter of media is in Toronto. They'll still call the Leafs the favorite.
They're the favorite every year.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, fair enough. Well, what am I saying? Do I live under a rock? Fuck. In other sports news, I'm gonna make this kind of a quick one, because I want to go skating actually for the first time in like a month. And the rink is open, so I'm gonna hit up the rink. MLB Spring Training starting soon. The players already reported. The first spring training game is in like a week or so. Freaking stoked. So football just ends, but thank God MLB starting in a little bit here. I like the Jays. I like our additions, and I mean, I say this the last few years because we actually have a good team now, and I think everyone's healthy this year. Springer he got his elbow surgery this past off season, so he's in good spirits. He's feeling good. Vladdy's looking hella good working out in the last like month or so. Some of the posts the Blue Jays put up there, and he's going off. He looks like a monster. And if Vladdy is able to pick up where he left off 2 years ago, because last year was kind of a little bit of off year for him compared to what he had. I mean, you can't even really say that. The kid's still so young. But if he's able to be as good as he was last year, and then just, even that would be good enough. But I think he's got some bones to pick in the league here, and he's seeing all these other guys getting all these big, huge contracts, and he actually he just signed a 1-year deal with us to avoid arbitration. So he's not under a huge contract yet, and so he's going to be playing for that. Bichette we signed for 3 years. I think we kind of got a bit of a deal on him, to be honest with you, and so that's good. We got him locked up for a little bit, and man, hold on, I got to take this here. Yeah, just take this freaking thing here for later in this podcast. This week in sports history. That's a good one right there. Jays, I like our chances, but you never know. We'll see how the season goes. I mean, it's 162 games, so we'll get into it. But there's also like rule changes and whatnot coming into effect this year. Bigger bases. They're going from 15-inch by 15-inch bases to 18 by 18-inch bases, which in between second base and third base, or first base, second base, and third base, it shortens the distance by 4.5 inches from home plate to first, and from third to home, it shortens it by 3 inches. It's not a lot, but it will probably induce more stealing and more offense, essentially, right? Because there'll be more safe calls because it's just that much closer, and the amount of calls where it's just like bang bang, and they review it and you're just off by like that much, it'll induce more offense, and that's what MLB wants.
So higher
scores, yeah, and that's just what the world is now. They just want higher, in every sport they want higher scoring. Some diehards like myself don't mind a pitching duel. I like me a hardcore pitching duel. If I'm watching the entire game, like if I'm just tuning in real quick, inning here and inning there, I want to see some homers and whatnot. But if I'm watching the entire game, I don't mind seeing a couple pitchers just go at it and just like whiff these guys. But I understand where MLB is coming from, because in the middle of the season, when you're like in June, July, you could do anything. It's summer outside. You want to see some fireworks and shit. So I get that. But like when it comes down to like September, October times, I like seeing the pitchers go off. In other news before we get to this week in sports history, I mean, there's been a lot of news, like signings, trades, and all that, and we can get into that forever and ever. But just a big one in NBA, the the Brooklyn Nets, their super team experiment, it's over. It's freaking over. They tried to do what some of these teams have done recently and just pile on with a bunch of like the best players in the league. Didn't work out. They didn't win shit. They had James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. They're all gone. All three of them. So their big three are out. They got a decent return for those three, but I mean, I kind of don't mind that they didn't work, because I don't like that shit. I don't like the fact that there's a lot of like collusion and shit in that sport, where like the players talk to each other when they're not supposed to, about like signing and whatnot. You're not supposed to do that. I mean, they always do. They always do, but like it's more so there, like where they like, okay, well, are you planning on going here? Okay, well, I'm planning on going there too, right? And that's like the layman's terms of fucking putting it. But the Nets, I mean, for those three superstars, future Hall of Famers, they received these. I mean, they got Ben Simmons, the best player of the Hall, Seth Curry, not to get mistaken with Steph, Andre Drummond, he's not even with them. They traded him away again. Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, Michael Bridges, Jay Crowder, he's gone. Cam Johnson. They got 7 first-round picks, though. So it's like they're almost like in a rebuild after they tried and failed at creating a super team and winning with them and didn't get anywhere. Um, they got 7 first-round picks in the next few years, so we'll see how that turns out for them. I know there's a lot of haters of the Brooklyn Nets in New York specifically because the New York Knicks, for diehard basketball fans, the Knicks are the number 1 team in New York because they actually play at Madison Square Garden. The Brooklyn Nets, they've been bouncing all over. They used to be called the New Jersey Nets. I think at one point they were called the New York Nets.
No
loyalty whatsoever there. New York Knicks, their fans are loyal, like loyal, and they're almost like Leafs fans where they don't get rewarded for that loyalty. Like they just nothing good happens for them, and it's kind of shitty because they have such this huge following. I mean, it's New York, right?
Yeah, it's a meme now. Even I know.
The
right.
Knicks, yeah. And it kind of sucks for them. And so I guarantee there's a lot of Knicks fans that are loving the fact that the Nets experiment, their super team experiment, is done. Before we wrap it up here, just some other NBA news, which will lead us into this week in sports history. LeBron, obviously, takes over the all-time scoring lead. I mean, what a historic player. Some would say the best of all time. I don't know NBA through and through to give a completely educated opinion, but just from what I know, he's right there with Jordan. Obviously, if I had to pick, gun to my head, I would pick Jordan because Jordan has 6 championships and however much hardware.
He had the better Space Jam movie.
A way better Space Jam movie, way better. I tried to watch that new one. I couldn't get through like the first 5 minutes, bro. I turned it off. Yeah, I turned it off. I'm like, this is cheesy. I mean, the other one is cheesy too, but I don't know. Maybe because I watched it as a kid.
Yeah, it's cheesy because
yeah. But yeah, LeBron taking over Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the scoring lead, all-time scoring lead, and which actually brings me into this week in sports history. Wilt Chamberlain broke the scoring record back in 1966, February 14th, Valentine's Day. He had at that time it was the record was 20,000 points, 20,884 points. Now it's like in the 30,000 because Kareem went off, right? But Wilt broke that record back on February 14th, 1966, Valentine's Day. I hope you all had a good Valentine's Day. I know I certainly did. Oh, I was going to say something that would have... Can't say it. Say it. No! Let's just put it like I had a good Valentine's Day, and I'm having a really good Valentine's week, okay? Yes. February 15th, 1980. More this week in sports history. February 15th, 1980. Wayne Gretzky tied a NHL single game record, gaining 7 assists. This is when he was playing for the 1980, like it was his second season or no, first season with the Oilers. He an NHL record tying assists on 7 goals in an 8-2 victory over Washington at the Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton. And one last point on Wayne Gretzky, ironically, on the same day, 19 years later, February 15th, 1999, he has 5 assists. He records 5 assists with the New York Rangers in a 7-4 win over the Predators, and he officially takes a 1,000-point lead over Gordie Howe in all-time scoring. Unbelievable. 5 assists and a 1,000-point lead. Like the guy's never going to get caught. And it was actually, so it was against Nashville. That was the only time Gretzky ever played in Nashville. Right? Because I think that was like their first year, second year, the Nashville Predators. And Gretzky retired later that year. Speaking of retiring, I'm going to retire to the hockey rink, Appreciate y'all listening, watching, and hold your loved ones tonight. Hold them close.
We don't know when the end's going to be. UFOs.
Yeah. Freaking nukes going off. No. Just enjoy your time that you have here, because I certainly do, doing this sports stuff. I love sports with all my heart, and it's a good release and get away from all this other bullshit. So until next time, thank you.